Thanks for joining me today for this shoulder exploration. We're going to work hard, but hopefully we'll be able to explore some common yoga cues and maybe what that means for our body. So we're going to start seated today, either cross-legged. You're welcome to sit on a block, raise your hips up a little bit, or a blanket, or any other seated position that suits you. And we're going to bring the focus inwards and start with a few neck rolls, just finding what works for you today. Maybe you notice some tension in your neck, your shoulders. You might notice that you're sitting a little bit hunched. Can you extend the crown of your head up to the sky, relaxing your shoulders, whatever relaxing your shoulders means for you right now? I'll invite you to put your hands on your knees. Start taking some seated cat-cow. So on an inhale, shining your chest forward, arching your back. And then on an exhale, emptying the belly, curving your shoulders forward. And doing that a few more times with your own breath. Maybe you want to take a little bit of different movement rather than keeping a traditional cat-cow. You do some circles. Of course, this is focusing on your back and other parts of the body, but just notice what your shoulders are doing. Are they moving with you? Are they staying in the same place? And on your next inhale, I invite you to raise your arms to the sky and think about what your shoulders are doing now. Thinking about common yoga cues versus what actually feels natural to you. And on an exhale, I invite you to turn to the right, drop into a twist. So left hand on the right knee and right arm behind you. Extending the crown of your head up on an inhale and shining your chest round in the twist on the exhale. And keep that going with your breath. The shoulders are actually the most complex joint in the body. It's actually 4 joints for the whole shoulder, not just the one we think of. And actually most of your shoulders are suspended in soft tissue. They're not really attached to the trunk of the body, other than at one point at your sternum. And then inhale, raise your arms up to the sky. And exhale, drop to the other side in your twist. Again, inhaling to extend the crown of the head up and exhaling to shine your chest round a little bit more into your twist. This soft tissue across your shoulders is a lot of reason why when we feel tension, we feel it there. We carry tension in our shoulders, the muscles around them. So hopefully today we can loosen those off, relieve some tension, but also work them and strengthen them in a way to support our body and our motion. On your next inhale, arms up to the sky, gaze up, and drawing your hands to your heart or down to the floor, giving yourself last bit of seated movement before we move into a tabletop position. So here we've got our hands roughly underneath our shoulders, knees roughly underneath the hips, and we're pushing away from the ground. And here, can you feel the difference in your shoulders if you collapse down here versus pushing away from? I really encourage you to experiment with this. You might have done these in the gym, maybe scapular push-ups, you might have called them, and this is just engaging our scapula or our shoulder blades. We can feel them on the back, and these should be moving with us. So when we're pushing away from the ground, we want to push our shoulder blades up. You might be able to see that curve that comes in my upper body. That's me pushing down. And because I'm pushing down with my shoulders, my shoulder blades are supporting that movement. the muscles around it. And so actually, if we're trying to keep this level flat back, are we collapsing? And that's a question for you and your body. And I'd invite you to just notice the difference between when you're holding your shoulders rigid and pushing away from the floor, and when you actually let them protract. So push out and up. And we'll take a couple of cat-cows here, and maybe you notice the difference in your shoulder blades as you're pushing away from the ground, and you inhale and drop the belly, tailbone and crown of the head up to the sky, and then exhale, rounding through the back. And I feel my shoulder blades moving with that motion of my back, almost gliding. Taking a few more cat-cows. And then sinking your heels back, maybe you widen your knees a little bit, down into your child's pose. This might look like this, it could be different. But again, today the focus is the shoulders. This is a great resting pose for a lot of people, but if it's not right for you, feel free to take a seat or a tabletop. But if you're in this child's pose, I'll ask that you reach your fingers forward, tent your fingers so you're just on your fingertips, and notice what this is doing to your shoulders. Your shoulder blades are likely rising up towards the top of your back, your ears, as you're pulling forward. And then when you relax them, maybe slide your hands a little bit, forearms to the ground, forehead to the ground, and notice what your shoulders are doing then. And this natural movement is totally welcome. It's what our body is designed to do. Okay, on your next inhale, come back up to tabletop and join me here. And we're going to just extend our right foot out, keeping our pelvis level, toes dialed to the ground. And then if we want to lift our left arm up, extending forward to that straight line. And then on an exhale, I'm going to bring knee to nose. Inhale, extend out. And then on your next exhale, knee to nose, but actually bring that knee all the way through. Maybe put your hand down to support you and come into a low lunge position. You can have your toes tucked under or your tops of your foot flat to the ground. We want to lean forward into this. And then on an inhale, come lightly onto your fingertips. And then come up into a crescent lunge, raising the back foot. Not raising the back foot, raising the arms up to the sky. And notice here what your shoulder blades are doing as you reach up. Your shoulder blades protracting, they're coming up as well. Often we'll hear yoga teachers say, draw your shoulders away from your ears. And what they mean by that is we don't want to hunch like this, but actually draw out like you're holding a big beach ball. Bringing your shoulder blades up, following the motion of your arms. If you're humerus, your upper arm bone is coming up. Your shoulder blades are probably coming up too, because it's all connected. And I'll invite you to cactus your arms. Bring them to 90 degrees out by the side, elbows roughly level with your shoulders. And feel your shoulder blades drawing in together, like you're squeezing a pencil between them and you don't want to let it go. And then inhale, raise your arms up to the sky, feeling your shoulder blades go with you. And again, cactus your arms down, feeling that difference. And do the last one. Inhale up. And exhale, cactus your arms down. Inhale up. We're going to pivot that back foot. We're going to bring it out so your foot goes to the right-hand side off the back of your mat. And you're almost in this half warrior position. Front leg stays the same. Hips are open to the side. We'll come into our warrior two arms. So our arms out outside. Maybe we look to our right. And again, relax your shoulders down. I'm not asking you to force them down. They don't need to be pinned all the way down. Just relaxed, not forced either up or down. And notice how that feels for you. It might be quite difficult. It might be totally different to what you're used to. Your arms, your shoulders might be getting tired because it's just something that we're not often cued to do in yoga. And then flip your right hand, lean forward. We're going to reverse that warrior. You might want to rest on your thigh or bring your left arm round your back. And actually, what if you reach up rather than over? What difference does it make? That active reach up for your shoulders. And then tilt back and notice that difference. And then cartwheel back. Pivot your leg back so we're in that runner's lunge position. And then plant your hands on the ground and come back to tabletop position. And your arms might be feeling kind of tired at this point. They are not a problem. Come back off. Maybe move your shoulders forward, back, give them a bit of a break. And then join me back in tabletop position. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. You might notice it feels a little bit different. Our bodies are not the same on either side. But you might notice that this natural movement is actually quite difficult to get our heads around and get our bodies almost retrain them. So we're going to lift the right leg up, parallel. No, we're not. We've just done that one. We're going to lift the left leg up, parallel to the floor, hips level, toes dialed down. And then we're going to extend that right arm and exhale, bring the knee to the elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it forward. And this time we're going to bring our knee through and out to front. So we're in a runner's lunge on the other side. Get yourself sort of in a comfortable position. Sink in and come up, just keeping that active. And on inhale, come up lightly onto your fingertips. And your next inhale, sweep up into your crescent lunge. And notice, what did your shoulders naturally want to do? Are you consciously thinking about it now? And how does this feel compared to how you normally do yoga? If you normally do yoga. I'm going to take those 3 lots of cactus arms again. So on an exhale, rotate your palms forward, elbows out, squeezing your shoulder blades together. And this is actually an external rotation of your shoulders. Shoulders are moving away, out from our body. And then we inhale, back up, palms facing to each other. This is internal rotation. This is something we do so much in yoga. So I love to be able to counter that. And exhale with these cactus arms, training our body in all the ways that it's capable of that we don't often do in modern life. Inhale. And then final one, exhale, cactus arms. And inhale up. We're going to pivot that back foot. So our foot comes off the left-hand side of the mat into this sort of half warrior position. Have a little shift like me if you need to. And bringing your arms out. Just give a little check so your back arm is still up, not drooping. And again, relax your shoulders. They should have natural movement. And we'd like them to move in the direction of our upper arm. So here, our arms are going out. So we expect our shoulder blades to be moving slightly out. So imagine you've got a piece of tape, the back of your shoulders. When our arms are ascending, we're sending that force out. Imagine that you want that tape to be as taut as possible. We don't want it to wrinkle. And then flip your front arm, lean forward, come back into this reverse warrior. And then actively lifting your arm up to the sky. And then notice how that feels on your shoulders before you lean back, maybe a bit further, and bend over. And on an inhale, come back up. And then we're going to cartwheel back down, pivot the back foot, and come back into that tabletop position. Now I'll invite you to either stay in this tabletop, maybe if you really want to feel a bit more fire, see what you can do with that protraction of your shoulders, you take a hovering cat. Always the option to take a child's pose and have a rest. We're working our shoulders in a way we don't usually. So if you want to join me in this hovering cat, tuck your toes under from your tabletop position, protract to push down against the floor, let your shoulders arch up, and then lift those knees off the ground. And notice how that feels. Of course, we're feeling that across our whole body. Last inhale, then exhale, down to the ground. You're more than welcome to repeat that again with your own breath, or join me in a child's pose. What I think is really great in this child's pose, if your shoulders are feeling quite sore, is think more formally as a prayer pose, child's pose. I like to call it shark fin. So I'm inching my elbows forward, forehead to the mat, and then I'm bending my arms up, creating a shark fin, or putting my hands in prayer position behind my head. And here you might find you get a stretch through your triceps, your upper arms, your shoulders. When you're ready, on an inhale, I invite you to come up into your tabletop position. Maybe move your hands a little bit further forward, and then lift your hips up into the downward facing dog. Here you might want to pedal out the legs, take some movement. It's perhaps your first downward facing dog of the day. Gripping into your fingers. Here we're going to focus on the upper body. So if your knees are bent, doesn't matter, heels don't have to touch the floor. We're going to focus on extending our spine and pushing the front of the mat away from us. Gripping through our fingertips and noticing what that does to our shoulders. Again, we want the shoulders away from the ears, but what does that mean? Again, we're not sinking down, our shoulders shouldn't be all the way, shoulder blades all the way down our back, but we're pushing forward, we're sending that energy forward, and that's where our shoulder blades want to go. And inhale, invite you to walk your way or jump to the front of the mat. We're a forward fold. Just hanging here, giving your shoulders maybe a little bit of a break, let them relax forward, no activation, just a bit of chill. Maybe take some movement, bending your knees, side to side. Now on an inhale, take forward fold, extending the crown of your head forward. Flat back. And then exhale, down to the ground. And we're going to inhale all the way up, arms above the head, looking up. And exhale, bring our arms down by our side for our Tadasana. So we often use this pose, we don't really think about it, sort of an in-between sort of pose. But here I really want you to think about your arms. Where do you put your arms in Tadasana? I think quite a common way towards it is palms out to the front and opening up. We're accepting what is in front of us. We're open. But I'll invite you to take note of what your shoulder blades are doing. What are your shoulders doing? And what do we usually do? You don't have to be looking at me or even the same as what I am. But just notice where your body naturally wants to be. And if there are any sensations when you turn your hands in out, and even further than we normally do. Maybe pinkies forward, thumbs dialed back. Again, in this external rotation, how does it feel in the shoulders? And how about if you inhale this time and raise your hands to the sky, going forward, but with your thumbs dialed forward, or as forward as they can be, and your little toes dialed behind. Little fingers dialed behind. It's totally different to a lot of yoga we do. And now rotate your hands so your palms are facing together, maybe a more natural, practiced position for us. Okay. On an exhale, bring your arms down, give your shoulders a little shake, a little rest. We're going to do something similar now, but build that up. Inhale, look up, and then dive forward into your forward fold, halfway lift. And then we're going to step back into our plank, noting our shoulders. Of course, you can have your knees lowered, noting your shoulders, pushing up against away from the ground, and then lifting up into your downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift your right leg up high, toes dialed to the ground. And on an exhale, bring your knee to nose. Squeeze, 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 heel to butt, and then bring your right foot forward, help it along if you need to, into a high lunge. Of course, you have the option to lower your knee. And we're in this high lunge position. Arms up above the head, and we're going to take that cactus. Again, this time, got the option to dip your knee as well, just for a little bit of extra energy if you want it. If you don't want to take it, don't. So on an exhale, cactus your arms down, dip your back knee. Inhale, look up, bringing your arms up with you, and then exhale, cactus arms and dip. Look up. Last one, cactus arms, dip, squeezing your shoulder blades, and all the way up. Then we're going to pivot on the back foot and open out into our warrior two. And you might want your hands on your hips, just to give your shoulders a bit of a break. But you also might want to experiment with your arms again, sending the energy out from your fingertips, allowing your shoulder blades to follow, leaning in, and twisting your arms so you're facing up. Palms are facing up towards the sky. And on an inhale, straighten your knee, raise your arms to the sky. And then exhale, bend forward back into your warrior. You're going to do that twice more with your own breath. So inhale, and exhale back down to warrior. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale down to your warrior two. We're going to then put our right forearm on our right thigh and take an extended side angle. So we're not collapsing into this shoulder. We're using our core and keeping the weight off. You could almost hover this if you wanted to, but I'm not going to be that mean today. And extend that left arm all the way over your head, alongside your ear. I'm going to invite you to live your greatest rock fantasy and take some air guitar arms, circling your arms round, and just notice how your shoulder blades are moving with this. How does it feel? When you've done 3 to 5, maybe go the other way. See what's happening. How does this feel in your body? Is the movement feeling good? Have you got any sticky points? On your next inhale, when you're done, back up to your warrior two, eyes forward, and then pivot your back foot, cartwheeling down into your low runner's lunge, and back into your downward facing dog. You might want to pedal out the legs, take a child's pose, a sip of water. Don't know about you, I'm feeling a bit lopsided after doing all that on one side. So let's balance it out. So we're in this downward facing dog again, focusing on our back extension, our shoulders pushing away, making that space between your shoulders and ears. You're not hunching, but you're protracting. And we're going to take our left leg up to the sky. Toes dialed down, hips level. And on an exhale, bring that knee into the chest towards your nose, squeezing your left foot up to your butt and bringing it forward into that runner's lunge. You can have your knee down. You can join me in a high lunge. Arms up to the sky. And we're going to take those cactus arms again. So 3 of them in your own time with your own breath. Exhale, dip if you want to. Cactus arms, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Inhaling back up. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale up. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale up. And then pivot your back foot, opening out your hips to your warrior 2 position. Maybe you just want that tactile feedback. Where are my hips? Okay, right, I'm good. 4, you open up your arms. Sending your gaze over your left fingers, sending that energy out, noticing your shoulders. Now on your inhale, twist your palms up to the sky, bring them together straight to the front leg, and then exhale, back down into your warrior 2. Let's go again. Flip the palms, inhale, come up, and exhale, warrior 2. I think this is that last one. Up, and then exhale to your warrior 2. We're going to take that extended side angle on this side, bringing our left forearm to our left thigh, bringing our right arm extended up past our ear, straight line, keeping the chest open. Maybe you look up, but making sure not to collapse into this left shoulder that's on your thigh. Again, maybe you've got a different song in your head, different dream, different rock concert, and air guitar that arm, circling it all the way around. Remembering your breath. This is what fuels you when you get tired. It fuels you always. And back the other way, rotating your arm in circles, the opposite direction. Excellent. And when you're ready, on your next exhale, pivot forward, down, and you can take a downward facing dog or a child's pose. Just come off your shoulders, your wrists entirely, sinking your hips back, giving yourself a moment to rest. The arm position, totally your choice. When you're ready, I invite you to come back to your tabletop position. And then just scoot your feet to one side and come onto your bottom and find a comfortable seat. Maybe you sit cross-legged, sitting on a block, just lifting your hips up can really take off some pressure of your hips. And notice how your shoulders feeling. Mine are aching, but it's good. That ache, that good ache, is what helps us to strengthen, to grow, to understand our bodies. I'll invite you to just shake out your arms, your shoulders, take any movement that you feel like you need, and then stretch your legs out in front of you. Have a nice soft bend. You can still be sat on your block or sat on the floor if that's more comfortable for you. And then we're going to raise our arms up to the sky, looking up. Extend, extend, extend. Hinge forward as much as we can. And then bring our hands to rest on our legs, wherever natural. Relaxing the shoulders, head, your neck down. Maybe giving yourself a little hug in this cocoon that you've made for yourself. Taking some time to really reflect how you use your body. All those years ago, evolved from cave people. They're not thinking, bring your shoulder blades back and down. Okay, I'm ready to go climb that tree. Just climbing it. Whether they're escaping from something, just having fun. Even as kids, we go on the monkey bars and we climb trees. Our bodies are made to move. There's this principle, the said principle. It's the specific adaptation to imposed demands, which basically is the fancy science way of saying, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So I really encourage you to experiment with your body and poses and think about how it works, your muscles, your joints in different ways. Some of which will be good for you and work for your body, and others you might need to build up to. But that's okay. On your next inhale, I encourage you to just start to roll up, like we would do from forward fold to standing. We're seated, just vertebrae by vertebrae, stacking them one on top of each other, letting your head come up last. And I'm going to come back into that cross-legged position and maybe take the other leg in front, your non-natural leg. Take some final neck rolls. Noticing how your body might feel different now compared to the beginning of class. Shrug your shoulders up and down, up and down. Last one, up and down. You're circling your arms up, out to the side, palms up, until they touch the top above your head. Maybe you look up. Bringing your hands down to your chest, your lap. Thank yourself for making this time for you today, being willing to explore all the cool things your body can do, being willing to take the steps to strengthen and explore different things. Namaste.